television. The Sikh cafes, the Polish shops. At one point there was a Polish shop called Polish Smack, which is... I mean, what a brilliant name for a shop. They clearly hadn't done all their research. Must have spent all day long. No, we don't have any bloody heroin. We got 11 type of sausage, but none of these skag. I'm sorry, that's just the name of the shops. Confused me, man, huh? Leith had Britain's first Dutch-style dope-selling coffee shop, the Purple Haze, but the owner was arrested and fined £500. And it just goes to show that you can be absolutely thorough with your business plan and still something unexpected pops up, wouldn't it? Who could have predicted that selling illegal drugs would turn out to be illegal? Steve, who showed me round, told me about the drunk butchers that there was in Leith. He said he went in there one day and there was just no one serving him at all, and eventually he called out and the bloke went, "I'll tell you what, pal, do you mind just weighing what you want and, like, putting the money in the till?" And Steve said, "Yeah, but there's another woman coming in behind me." He says, "Well, you'll have worked out how the till works. You can serve her, can't you?" Best of all, though, round the corner from Leith Walk is the magnificent Porterleith pub. This is the pub that serves the sailors and the dockers. And when I asked what time I should go down and meet people there, a barman said, "Well, 4 in the afternoon's best, because at that time they're all nicely drunk, so that they open up, but not so drunk that you can't understand what they're saying." The clientele in there have a reputation for partying that puts anywhere Kate Moss goes to in the shade. There was a bloke in there told me the police came in once because these kids had gone down to the docks and they'd got in their dinghy and they'd started floating out to sea. So the police went and rescued them and they said, "Do you know where your dad is?" And they said, "He's in the Port of Leith." So the police came in and they said to the kids, "Which one's your dad?" And one of them said, "He's the one dancing on the bar in a pair of PVC shorts." So at this point, I'd like to introduce someone who, as far as I can work out, is probably the biggest celebrity in the whole of Leith. Far, far greater celebrity status than anyone appearing at the festival. Mary Moriarty, who... Mary, what was your role in the Port of Leith?
I was the person that did all the work, I think.
The stories that I've heard from the port, it's almost like every night there could be a series of stories from there. But you would tell there was someone who went there once who seemed to not think that he had to dress particularly smartly.
Yes, I thought he might have come along tonight, but he's obviously ashamed. But he took all his clothes off. I never noticed that he'd taken all his clothes off until the customers started pointing at him like that. So I went round, said, "At least put your knickers on." And he took them from the chair and put them on his head.
Smart casual.
Yeah. But he wasn't being, what would you call it?
Lewd.
Lewd, yes.
No.
Thank you. That's the word we don't know in Leith.
He was being... Thanks very much for Mary for running the pub for... I'm not a public relations expert, particularly. I wouldn't not want to advise a town on what to do to attract tourists. But from reading the local papers, I'd say there is something that's going on in Leith that's probably not helping the image all that much, because there's a headline in The Scotsman that goes, I will quote, "Give a miss to the hanging garlands of dog poo in Leith." And then it goes on, "Short of any place to stash their dog poo, the good citizens of Leith have come up with the notion of tying it up in cheap blue shopping bags and flicking it up into the branches, where they swing like an unpleasant kind of piñata." Have you all noticed that? Yeah. Are you not that bothered? You don't seem particularly perturbed by this. Do you get kids going, "Oh, can we have a go?" "No, I've told you, wait till your birthday. Do you know how long it took to put that together?" The character of Leith clearly comes in a great part from its past as a port that made it at one point the 5th biggest town in Scotland, with its own shipyard and thousands of sailors and pubs like Fairley's, that was known in the 1970s for 2 reasons. One is that there was a fair amount of prostitution, and the other because it had a particularly wild character who was in...